On the last day of college application submissions, my childhood sweetheart suddenly changed his choice to attend the same university as the school beauty. A friend teased him. "What about your little green plum? Didn't you promise 6 years ago to go to Harbin together?" As if just remembering this, my childhood sweetheart paused before answering carelessly. "Catherine, it's fine. She has my account password. She'll change her application herself once she finds out I've changed mine. She can't live without me anyway." I remained silent for a long time, then quietly left, pretending I hadn't heard anything. That day, I didn't log in to check the system again, nor did I follow his lead in changing my application. He didn't know that while he could cross mountains and seas for the campus belle, I too had skies I longed to soar towards. Even that dream I tirelessly pursued through countless days and nights was never solely for him. 1. Vincent's words left me frozen in place, nearly forgetting to breathe. Working hard together to get into Harbin Institute of Technology was the promise we made back in our first year of junior high. For those 2 days when filling out college applications, our two families sat together, discussing at length before solemnly submitting them. Yet now he suddenly changed his own. Without saying a word to me, inside the private dining room, my friend pressed curiously. "How did you know Catherine would open your application system to take another look?" What if she didn't notice at all? Vincent scoffed as if hearing a joke. "More than just a look. Don't I know her well enough?" She wished she could check it 800 times a day, terrified of filling in the wrong information and getting assigned to a different major than me. At this point, he sounded somewhat helpless. "You wouldn't understand even if I told you. If you'd had a little shadow clinging to you every day since childhood that you couldn't shake off, you'd get it." The crowd burst into laughter. His friend suddenly understood, but still protested. "Even if she finds out, are you so sure Catherine would follow your last-minute change of plans?" Vincent looked up from his game and sneered in response. "Fuck off. Catherine and I haven't been apart for more than a week since the day she was born. Who else would she go to college with if not me?" Another friend couldn't help but interject. "Vincent, I'm not saying this to be harsh, but you're being a bit of a jerk about this. Couldn't you just tell her directly that you changed your college preference?" Vincent's fingers paused on the screen, his expression visibly irritated. "Honestly forgot, and it's annoying. Can't be bothered to explain all that to her. If she finds out I changed my plans for Rebecca, there's going to be another scene. Besides, it's not like I changed on a whim. Rebecca said she's scared to go study in the South alone, and having a familiar friend with her would make her feel more at ease." The friends all paused for a moment, silently agreeing as they sighed. Well, Rebecca is such a stunning beauty, and with her family situation being what it is, it's hard not to want to protect her. Unlike that simp Catherine of yours, always looking disheveled and only knowing how to study, she really can't compare to the campus belle. Even willing to give up her beloved aviation major. Only someone as chivalrous as me, Vincent, would show such pity for fragile beauty. The mingled sounds of laughter and video games continued. Outside the door, I stood frozen, as if plunged into an icy abyss. I clenched my fists so tightly my nails dug into my palms. I desperately wanted to burst through the door and confront Vincent, but my feet felt like they were weighed down with lead, utterly refusing to move. I stood there silently, frozen in place for what felt like an eternity. In the end, I couldn't muster the courage, just turned away silently, staggered out of the restaurant in a daze. Only after locking myself in my room did the tears I'd held back finally burst forth unchecked. Vincent's words echoed relentlessly in my mind, syllable by syllable. I still can't make sense of it. How could he suddenly change his childhood dream of aviation? After all these years of working hard together towards our shared goal, we finally achieved the scores for our dream majors. Even just 1 second before entering the private dining room, I was still foolishly happy about realizing our dreams together. But I never could have imagined that the future we both worked so hard to build together, he would abandon it all so easily, just because of someone else's words. Even if he wanted to change his mind, why couldn't he at least tell me? "Are you that afraid I'll cling to you?" If you're so afraid I'll cling to you, then what about that night under the stars on my 18th birthday? What about that cautious yet initiated kiss, when both our hearts pounded like drums? What did that mean? Was it just drunken impulse on his part, misinterpreted as sincerity by me? A string in my heart seemed to snap suddenly. Actually, I didn't necessarily have to follow him everywhere. Since kindergarten, I had attended the same elementary, middle, and high school as Vincent. Everyone, even Vincent himself, took it for granted that I would always be with him, and we would never part. But no one knew that besides relying on him, I had another reason for wanting to attend that university. It had nothing to do with Vincent. Even if he didn't go, I would have gone alone. I shut down the computer I had unconsciously turned on earlier. I didn't want to look at that application system again. I never had any thought of changing my college plans for him. He could cross mountains and seas for the campus belle, while I too have skies I long to soar toward. Since we each have our own paths ahead, there's no need to dwell on the past. 3. Once I came to this realization, everything suddenly became clear. It's no big deal. Mom was right. People always have to learn to grow up on their own. As for that kiss, just consider it like being nipped by a stray dog on the street. I had just splashed cold water on my face to calm down when Vincent called me on video. My mind hesitated, but my fingers reflexively tapped to answer. "Catherine, why aren't you here yet? Everyone's already here waiting for you to start dinner. Why are you getting slower and slower, princess?" After the college entrance exams, Vincent's close childhood friends agreed to take turns hosting fancy dinners to relax. Today was Vincent's turn to treat everyone. But I no longer wanted to go. "I'm not going. You all have fun without me." Before I could finish speaking, I heard a deliberately soft, coquettish voice beside Vincent. Vincent, Catherine won't come. Is she unhappy that I'm joining your little group gathering? Vincent hadn't even responded when several male voices urgently chimed in to dissuade him. Not at all. Having our campus belle grace us with her presence is something we could only dream of. Catherine can be a bit petty. She makes a fuss whenever any girl gets close to Vincent. We're used to it by now. Rebecca's profile casually appeared in Vincent's camera frame, leaning exceptionally close to him. She considerately explained to him in a hushed voice, Vincent, maybe I should leave first. I don't want to put you in an awkward position. Vincent's expression immediately changed as he turned to grab her hand. Rebecca, you don't have to go. Catherine's gone crazy today, for some reason. If she doesn't want to come, then don't bother. Not waiting anymore. Let's eat. Vincent snapped those cold words at me and hung up the video call before I could respond. Anger kept bubbling up inside me too, so I immediately blocked Vincent in retaliation. This was the first time I'd ever blocked him after an argument in all our years together. It was because of Rebecca again. Ever since Rebecca transferred to our school in our second year of high school, I'd lost count of how many exceptions Vincent had made for her. Perhaps all boys like that kind of girl. Pure and pretty. During those days when I was at my most disheveled, burying myself in studies, Rebecca never seemed to settle for less. She woke up early every day to apply delicate natural makeup, always looking so refined and beautiful. For Rebecca, we fought countless times and went through just as many cold wars. I even thought he had fallen for Rebecca and decided to give up on Vincent, so I deliberately distanced myself from him a few times. But every time, Vincent would find me again, repeatedly reassuring me. What nonsense are you thinking? Rebecca is just an ordinary classmate to me, nothing more. Don't overthink it. I just wanted to help her because she's had it tough. Her family situation is special. While classmates praise her looks to her face, they actually judge her behind her back. I believed Vincent's words. Rebecca did come from a complicated family background, so I didn't make too much of her growing closer to him. Besides, Vincent had never lied to me since we were kids. If he said he didn't like her, then I believed him. But later, without me even realizing it, Vincent gradually shared countless moments with her that I knew nothing about. Even now, he casually changed his college entrance exam preferences just for Rebecca, making me seem all the more ridiculous. My chaotic thoughts were abruptly interrupted by a WeChat notification. You've got some nerve, Catherine. Blocking me? Just wait till you get home. /angry. Vincent borrowed his friend's account to message me. I promptly blocked all his friends' accounts too. Glancing at the time, I quickly packed up and headed to school. On the final day of college application submissions, our homeroom teacher called us together one last time for some announcements. The roads were a bit congested, and by the time I arrived, Vincent and Rebecca were already in the classroom. The seat next to Vincent was supposed to be mine, but Rebecca was firmly planted there instead. When she saw me approach, she made no move to get up and give me the seat, her eyes brimming with smug satisfaction. Vincent seemed oblivious, his expression cold as he deliberately turned his head away to avoid looking at me, as if waiting for me to bow my head and make peace. But I wouldn't. Just as well, I no longer wanted to be near Vincent anyway. Glancing around, I went straight to sit in the empty seat beside my best friend Natalie. Stay away from them. Classmates, there's only half a day left for college applications. Please double-check carefully and make sure you've made the right choices. If anyone still hasn't finalized their decision, you can consult the teacher privately for advice. After giving a few brief instructions, the teacher let everyone have free time. I was listening to Natalie share some juicy gossip about a celebrity scandal when suddenly someone patted me on the head. Catherine, come out for a moment. I turned my head and happened to meet Vincent's gaze. Looked away, not wanting to acknowledge him. Turned back to continue chatting with Natalie. Vincent grabbed my shoulders and turned me to face him. Catherine, what are you making a fuss about this time? I'm really tired of this. Fighting and giving each other the cold shoulder every time. We're about to go to college. How childish can you be? Forced to meet his gaze, I snapped back. It's childish and boring, so don't come begging for reconciliation again. After a brief staring contest, Vincent lost his patience. Whatever. Can't be bothered arguing with someone so petty. Keep playing the victim if you want. Just don't go crying about it alone tonight. I turned my face away coldly, refusing to look at him. After a moment, I thought he had left. But Vincent suddenly cupped my face with both hands, turning me to meet his earnest gaze as he said solemnly, "Today's the final day for submitting university preferences. Double-check everything carefully. Don't make any mistakes." He was about to say something when Rebecca suddenly approached holding a laptop. "Vincent, there's a small issue with my college application. Could you come take a look?" Vincent nodded. Before leaving, he pinched my cheek affectionately as he always used to, then reminded me one last time. "Why didn't you bring your laptop? Remember to go check your application one more time at the school computer lab later. Don't be careless with life's important decisions." I sneered inwardly. Vincent probably thought that by reminding me, I'd definitely go check, discover the discrepancy, and immediately follow his lead by changing my application to Shaman 2. Yet he was being so awkward about it, unwilling to tell me directly and clearly. Fair enough. If he'd told me outright that he changed his application, he'd have to waste energy explaining it to someone as troublesome as me. How exhausting that would be. Fortunately, I had already made up my mind and would never look back. Glancing at Vincent, who was busy helping Rebecca with her college applications, I pulled Natalie out of the classroom. Just as I was about to hail a cab home, noticing my unhappiness, Natalie insisted on dragging me to her friend's birthday party. Unable to refuse, I reluctantly went along. After dinner, they dragged me to the newly opened bar. When we arrived, I realized Vincent's gathering was also happening there tonight. Since many people from both groups knew each other, we naturally ended up in one large private room together. Vincent looked somewhat awkward when he saw me. But he didn't say anything, nor did he greet me. I treated him like air. When I went to the restroom, I overheard Vincent talking with his friend around the corner. His friend advised him, "You should just be upfront with her. Otherwise, it'll be really tough for a young girl like her to go all the way to the Northeast alone." Vincent still didn't seem to care. "Don't worry, I made sure to emphasize it several times. She must have already changed it by now. The reason she's probably mad at me is because we didn't discuss this with her beforehand." Lost in thought, the two of them emerged from around the corner. When Vincent spotted me, he signaled for his friend to go ahead and then blocked my path in the hallway. "Catherine, let's talk." I shot him a glare and turned to leave. I'd barely taken a step when he pulled me back, trapping me against the corner. The faint scent of alcohol washed over me. I couldn't help but tilt my head away to avoid his gaze. After a brief standoff with me, Vincent couldn't hold back and was the first to laugh. "Still mad? I wanted to text you this afternoon to invite you to the bar together, but you blocked me. The message couldn't get through. Then in the classroom, you made me so angry I forgot to mention it to you." "All right now, be good. Don't be angry. I don't know where you get all this anger from day to day. By the way, have you double-checked all your university applications?" I remained expressionless, with no desire to speak to him. I kept my head down in silence. During our standoff, just as he was about to say something more, Rebecca's voice suddenly called out from behind him. "Vincent, Ethan is looking for you to grab a drink." I'm sorry, were you too? Sometimes I wonder if Rebecca has installed surveillance on me. Every time Vincent speaks to me, she appears immediately. But I didn't want to chat with them any longer. Seizing the moment when Vincent turned his head, I slipped out from under his arm. As I passed Rebecca, she grabbed me tightly. "I'm really sorry, Catherine. I didn't mean to interrupt you too. Vincent has been in a bad mood all day because you've been giving him the cold shoulder." I didn't want to engage with her. My hand ached from her grip, and I had to wrench it free with force. Rebecca staggered slightly, tears instantly welling up in her eyes. "Vincent, is Catherine still angry that I went to your little group's gathering? Can I make it up to her? Please don't let there be any more tension between you because of me." As she spoke, Rebecca moved as if to stand in front of me and bow. Vincent flared up instantly, immediately turning to block Rebecca. "She's the one acting like a spoiled princess. Why are you apologizing to her? Catherine, why did you push her? Shouldn't you be apologizing to Rebecca? From now on, we'll all be at the same university. We should look out for each other. Since you love taking care of each other so much, you can slowly look after one another." I threw down these words and stormed off angrily. I didn't care about Vincent's displeased warning that followed behind me. "Catherine, you've gone too far." It was quite some time before Vincent and Rebecca finally returned. Vincent's face stiffened, while Rebecca seemed perfectly fine, wearing a shy, coquettish expression. Everyone except Natalie teased them about being gone for so long, hinting at something suspicious, and deliberately created romantic opportunities for them during the game of truth or dare. Even Vincent's childhood friend joined in the teasing, completely unconcerned about whether I might feel awkward or upset. Of course, in their eyes, I'm just Vincent's pathetic little follower, aren't I? Rebecca drew the lot for an intimate dance with a male participant, and her pleading gaze immediately locked onto Vincent. Vincent glanced at me almost imperceptibly, as if challenging me, then readily agreed to partner with her. In the past, I would have immediately jumped in to angrily stop them at such moments. But now, I didn't react at all. Rebecca had joined the street dance club at school, and with her sizzling figure, her dancing was quite a sight to behold. I downed a can of beer in silence, watching calmly as Rebecca, to the beat of a seductive K-pop track, began grinding against Vincent. A faint, knowing smile played at the corners of Vincent's lips. At first, his gaze kept darting in my direction, as if waiting for me to call it off at any moment. As Rebecca closed the distance between them, he stopped noticing anything around him, his back straightened, his eyes holding nothing but Rebecca's figure. Sparks practically flew between the two. As the dance ended, Rebecca accidentally fell right into Vincent's arms. She wore a body-hugging skirt tonight, and accidentally fell right into Vincent's arms, their embrace so tight that their sitting posture became unmistakably suggestive. The crowd's teasing erupted like thunder, nearly lifting the roof off. Rebecca's face instantly flushed crimson, as if searching for a place to hide. Vincent scolded everyone with a grin, joking not to take things too far. He abruptly pressed Rebecca's face into his chest, shielding her from everyone's gaze. That natural intimacy and familiarity used to be reserved exclusively for me. Even though I had already decided to let go, seeing this still made my heart ache uncontrollably. I couldn't bear to watch any longer. After finishing the last sip of my drink, I silently left the private room. Natalie couldn't take it either and came out with me, staying by the roadside as we vented our anger for a long time. She had held it in all evening, several times wanting to make a scene right then and there, but I stopped her each time. Why spoil the mood? From now on, we're just strangers anyway. I don't know how things ended up inside. I just feel exhausted, like nothing matters anymore. I got home at exactly 11:55 p.m. There were only 5 minutes left before the college application deadline. Exhausted, I lay on the bed with my eyes closed. I couldn't help feeling disappointed. A decade-long relationship can't be abandoned just like that. Amidst the sorrow, the phone suddenly rang. An unfamiliar number. Upon answering, it turned out to be a drunken Vincent. His tone carried a rare hint of coaxing. Catherine, stop being stubborn, sweetheart. Remember to change your application choice. Shaman is nice too, facing the sea. I'll take you to the beach for travel photos later. Perhaps due to the alcohol, Vincent was uncharacteristically gentle in his attitude. In the past, when she threw tantrums, even when he yielded first, there was always a hint of threat in his tone. Catherine, stop making a scene, or don't count on me taking you to Disneyland. So I obediently stepped down from my high horse and forgave him. How could I bear to truly fall out with someone I genuinely loved? But this time, the more unusual his behavior became, the more it weighed on my heart. Say something, Catherine. Catherine, what do you think? You've always been clamoring to go on a beach vacation, haven't you? I heard the new campus is right by the sea. You'd definitely love it. Honestly, Harbin is just too far away, and winters there are brutally cold. You're so sensitive to the cold. You'd probably end up crying, but if you really want to go, I could accompany you to the ice and snow world during winter break. Vincent rambled on, as if trying to convince himself, or perhaps trying to convince me, as if changing to study at Shaman University was for my sake. I listened in silence for a while, but in the end, I couldn't hold back and asked him, Vincent, isn't there something you need to tell me? My voice trembled with emotion I hadn't even realized was there. I think if he could be honest about his issues now, then perhaps we might still be able to be ordinary friends in the future. If he still chooses not to give a clear response now, then honestly, there's no need to keep in touch anymore. On the other end, he only hesitated for a few seconds before continuing evasively. You already know everything. Why bother asking? You've been giving me the cold shoulder all day over this. What a petty little thing you are. Alright. They're both good universities anyway, and you chose the major you like. As long as we're together, it doesn't matter which university we go to. Vincent kept rambling on and on, stubbornly avoiding the real issue. I couldn't be bothered to listen anymore. One last chance. I didn't wait for him to finish speaking before hanging up and turning off my phone. I glanced at the clock. The second hand had just passed 12. There was no room for regret now. Perhaps it's for the best. We each chose our own paths, and in the end, we both got what we wanted. Turn off the lights, lie flat, force myself to sleep. But when I close my eyes, my mind is filled with Vincent. Happy Vincent, sad Vincent, funny Vincent, angry Vincent, every kind of Vincent. We grew up together, still childish at heart, accompanying each other through everything. Every memory is shadowed by his presence. I never imagined it would come to this ending. People are always particularly vulnerable late at night. No matter how much I told myself to stay strong during the day, my tears still soaked the pillowcase without me realizing. In my days, I didn't know when I finally fell asleep. When I woke up again, it was already noon the next day. I turned on my phone to find a pile of missed calls and messages from unfamiliar numbers. All from Vincent. I ignored them. WeChat notifications were popping up frantically too. Natalie had previously added me to a girls group chat, where someone kept at ing everyone to gossip. 8. I clicked in and saw that one of the girls had posted a screenshot of a WeChat Moments post from 1 a.m. last night. The girls were all buzzing about it in the group. TSK, the campus bell is making a late-night official announcement. How many couples have gone public since the college entrance exams ended? Gotta hand it to the campus bell. Clearly born with a silver spoon. That watch alone looks like it costs tens of thousands. The boundaries are really pushed. You can tell everyone's truly letting loose after the Gaokao. A screenshot of Rebecca's social media post. I instinctively tapped to enlarge the image. The side profile of the boy lying on the white hotel bed in the photo was Vincent's sleeping face. Even though only a quarter of his face was visible, I recognized it instantly. My heart involuntarily ached with a sharp pang once more. Rebecca's caption beneath the photo was dripping with ambiguity. With all my courage, I took 99 steps toward you. Thankfully, you finally turned around and took the last step toward me. At this moment, I am truly happy. Red heart. Below, many people liked and commented, and Rebecca's replies were quite ambiguous. Most of Vincent's close friends were there. My heart sank. So, they had already reached the stage. Last night, Vincent was tenderly comforting me while being intimate with someone else. How true. Must have been exhausting for him. My mood plummeted to rock bottom again. Yet at the same time, I felt strangely relieved. It's a good thing I didn't actually change my application to follow him. Otherwise, I would have been the complete fool for the next 4 years. Turn off the screen, force yourself not to look anymore, and think less about Vincent and Rebecca. Still lost in thought, the doorbell suddenly rang. The door opened, and standing there was Vincent. 9. The dark circles under Vincent's eyes were quite noticeable, still holding the box of my favorite dessert from that shop. I stood frozen at the door, making no move to let him in. He pushed me along, heading straight for the living room with practiced ease. At the dining table, he set down the dessert and instinctively reached out to tousle my hair, as he used to. I barely managed to dodge. Catherine, your temper's been getting worse lately, huh? I sent you so many messages and you didn't reply, didn't answer my calls either. Are you planning to wait until I go on a trip without you, then chase after me crying? Vincent carefully unwrapped the little cake, cut it into small pieces, and then brought them to me. Alright, don't be mad anymore. I took a half-hour cab ride early this morning just to buy you these pastries. Go ahead and eat, I know you've been craving it for a while. After we finish, let's discuss where to go for the holiday. I didn't take his cake. He gave me a bitter smile and tried to feed me cake directly with a fork, but I subtly stepped further away without a word. Alright, young miss, if you don't want to eat now, we won't eat just yet. You've always dreamed of going to Xinjiang, haven't you? But you never had enough time off. Summer vacation is the perfect chance for a spontaneous trip. I've already made plans with Ethan and the others. We can just book 2 cars to go together. It's no fun with just 2 people. The more, the merrier. I shook my head in refusal. No, I won't go. You go by yourself. I'm about to head out. Please leave first. Vincent froze for a moment before saying helplessly, "Why? You've been talking about it for more than a year or 2. Are you really giving it up just to be stubborn?" He set down the cake and reached out to hug me. I dodged him without noticing, and he snatched my phone with his other hand. "Stop making a scene, alright? I drank too much last night and didn't get enough rest. I even got up early this morning to comfort you. I'm really exhausted." I retorted irritably. "No one asked you to comfort me, and I don't need your comfort either." Vincent frowned and asked, "Then tell me why you don't want to go again?" I stared at him, puzzled. If you really wanted to discuss it with me, you wouldn't have finalized the plans before asking me. Besides, isn't it better that I'm not going? Rebecca will definitely accompany you anyway, so why insist on me going along to witness your happiness? Vincent let out a deep sigh. This was a sign of his patience, wearing thin. Yes, Rebecca is indeed going. She really likes Xinjiang. But she's not the only girl. Besides you two, Fatty's girlfriend is coming along too. Why do you keep staring at her? Did she offend you? Given her family situation, she hasn't traveled in years. Now that the college entrance exams are over, what's wrong with her spending her own money to be a travel companion? Xinjiang is so vast. Can it accommodate just one more person? Vincent seemed genuinely exhausted, speaking without thinking. His words infuriated me, and I nodded stiffly. Fine, fine. Go with whoever you want. Just count me out. Vincent's temper flared up too. This is the last time, Catherine. I've given you several chances to back down. If you keep this up, you're really crossing the line. I've already bought your plane ticket. We'll meet at the airport tomorrow morning. Go or don't go. It's up to you. He slammed his phone down on the table and strode out without looking back. I didn't make the slightest effort to stop him. I followed behind him and shut the door the moment he stepped out. Vincent was absolutely furious. His face darkened like the bottom of a pot before I closed the door, and he still managed to lecture me. You think with that foul temper of yours, how are you going to get along with your dorm mates when you go to college in the South? 10. The trailing words were shut outside the door by me. Back in the living room, I angrily threw the cake Vincent brought into the trash. Who wants his stupid cake anyway? Who wants to go on a trip with him and Rebecca? Even his way of backing down and trying to balance between his childhood friend and the new girl seemed ridiculous to me. I sat on the couch sulking. To avoid letting him affect my mood, I decided to go on a trip myself. They say it only takes 21 days to form a habit. Then I suppose breaking a habit should also take just 21 days. Mom wasn't comfortable with me going abroad alone, so she only agreed to let me stay with my aunt in Hainan for a while. Since there was nothing urgent to do after submitting my college applications anyway, I packed lightly and booked a direct flight to Sonia for that same evening. Before 10 p.m., I was already at my aunt's villa, enjoying a seafood barbecue. The sea breeze carried the sizzling aroma of the grill everywhere, lifting my spirits considerably. I couldn't resist posting it on my social media, a classic case of midnight food temptation. Natasha and the others were so jealous, saying they'd come visit me in a few days. The next day, I was awakened by my cousin's call. Glancing out the window, the sun was already blazing outside. Here, a call for you. It actually reached me instead. Your handsome childhood friend. My cousin handed me the phone. In a daze, I answered the call without thinking. It was Vincent, as expected. Catherine, everyone's gathered, and we're only missing you. The flight boards in half an hour. Why can't we find you? Why did you block me again? Your mom said you're staying with your cousin. Did your cousin come to Lakeside City? Vincent sounded frantic. I snapped back to reality and replied to him unhurriedly. No. I'm at her place, Sonia. Vincent sounded somewhat impatient. Stop joking around. You were still at home yesterday. If you hurry, you can still make it. I told you I'm not going with you, so don't waste your time waiting. The other end of the phone fell silent. A woman's voice whispered to him in the background. Catherine really did go to Sonia. This was her WeChat Moments post last night. My friend showed me. Oh, if Rebecca hadn't reminded me, I'd almost forgotten. Vincent can't see my WeChat Moments anymore. Now do you believe me? I retorted. Vincent seemed too furious to speak. Just as I was about to hang up, I only heard his words through gritted teeth. Catherine, don't you dare regret this. 11. Of course I regret it. I regret not coming here for vacation sooner. The exhaustion of my entire senior year seems to have been healed by these few days of sunshine, beaches, coconuts, and seafood barbecues. After my cousin learned about Vincent and me, she was furious. She kept saying she'd introduce me to handsome guys and found all sorts of ways to take me out. The rainy season in Sonia isn't too crowded and surprisingly not too hot either. Beachcombing, photography, diving, deep-sea fishing, water parks, ocean bungee jumping. Each day was so packed with activities that I'd collapse exhausted into bed, falling asleep instantly. I didn't even have time to think about those unpleasant people. Vincent and his group seemed to be having a good time too. The sister gossip group kept sharing their beautiful travel photos one after another. I had deliberately avoided looking at them before. One day, when my cousin finally got too exhausted to keep going and let me rest, I absent-mindedly clicked on them while scrolling through my phone. Vincent and his group had visited many places, with youthful and energetic group photos taken at every scenic spot. Among the pile of photos, I saw countless pictures of Vincent and Rebecca together. Each one was perfectly centered in Rebecca's 9-square grid social media posts, impossible to miss. In every frame, endless alpine meadows, crystal blue lakes, even against the backdrop of distant snow-capped mountains, there they were. Just Vincent and Rebecca, alone together. Every single location was someplace I'd longed to visit for years. A sour ache welled up in my heart. All those places Vincent and I had promised to explore together. In the end, someone else would see them with him instead. It turns out no one is truly irreplaceable. When my cousin woke up and found me lost in melancholy, she started scolding me again for being so weak-willed. It's just a few social media posts. Who can't do that? When it comes to taking photos and editing, your sister here has never lost. I've told you before, you just never put effort into dressing up. If you just put in a little effort when you go to college, you'll have all those college boys swooning. You won't even spare a second glance at your childhood sweetheart then. From that day on, my cousin dragged me into taking a bunch of gorgeous photos and made sure I flooded my social media with them. After ditching the baggy school uniform, I slipped into all kinds of fairy-like beach dresses my cousin bought for me. The black framed glasses were replaced with contact lenses, and I started learning makeup from my cousin. Perming my hair, getting manicures. All those must-do items for college-bound students were checked off her list. After her makeover, the reflection in the mirror became someone I barely recognized. The former bookworm who buried herself in studies had transformed into the stylish beauty blogger aesthetic I used to admire. Even my mother looked at the photo and was so shocked she barely recognized me. She couldn't help wiping away tears and sighing, "My daughter has truly grown up." My social media posts sparked quite a lively discussion. Many classmates left comments and likes, marveling at how much I'd changed. Some even shared the photo in our class group chat. Looking at everyone's affirming and praising words, I felt a bit embarrassed. After some thought, I replied in the group chat, "You flatter me. It's all thanks to photo editing." My reply appeared in the class group at the same time as Rebecca's best friend's comment. "Catherine's photo editing skills are amazing. When will you teach us?" There was a momentary silence in the class group. Natalie couldn't stand it anymore and immediately shared the original photo. I sent her in the group chat a live image. The classmates were even more amazed. Even the teacher came out to compliment me. So the class rep's beauty was hidden by the school uniform all along. Who knew? Pure literary goddess vibes. Catherine looks gorgeous even without makeup, okay? She just photographs better with it on. If it weren't for studying ruining her looks, our class would have 2 campus bells. The person who just made that veiled dig at me stayed quiet, but another friend of Rebecca's popped up to say sourly, "Even live photos can be Photoshop." But I didn't need to fight back. Plenty of classmates spoke up for me. As for Vincent and Rebecca, they never chimed in the class group chat. Though from that day on, Vincent stopped updating his travel moments on social media. Before long, my mother told me I had received the admission letter from Harbin Institute of Technology for my desired major. I cried tears of joy for what felt like an eternity. All those years of hard work had finally paid off. But then my mother told me Grandma had fallen ill, and I needed to return home immediately to see her. 12. On the second day, when I hurriedly landed at Lake City Airport, coincidentally or not, I actually ran into Vincent and his group returning. I had heard their planned trip was for a month, but for some reason, it ended half a month early. When our eyes met, Vincent seemed utterly shocked. Even Rebecca froze for a few seconds. After a stiff moment of eye contact, Vincent finally snapped out of it and came over to greet me as I was about to leave. "Catherine, you're back today too?" The admiration in Vincent's eyes was barely containable, and he couldn't help but voice it. "I almost didn't recognize you earlier. I never expected you to look quite this good." "Thank you." This was the first time Vincent and I had been apart for over a week. But when I came to my senses, I realized it wasn't really a big deal after all. I didn't want to exchange pleasantries with him, so I hurried toward the exit with my suitcase in tow. Mom was waiting for me at the arrival's gate, and I quickened my pace to reach her. She had just taken my suitcase when Vincent's voice came from behind. He had actually followed me here. "Catherine, why are you in such a hurry?" "Hello, Auntie." "Catherine, you must have received your admission letter too. My parents insisted I come back for the college celebration banquet." "By the way, didn't we agree to host a joint celebration banquet?" "My parents have already made reservations at the hotel." Mom didn't respond. Glancing at my silent but visibly unhappy expression, she stepped in to decline on my behalf. "Vincent, our Catherine has decided not to hold a college acceptance banquet. I'm busy with work, and her grandmother is ill. Our family has too much going on right now. We'll just have a family dinner to celebrate when things settle down. Please thank your parents for their kindness on my behalf." Mom's explanation was quite tactful. As for what happened between Vincent and me, she only knew we had a falling out. Vincent even changed his college preferences over it. I didn't explain the details to her, but Mom was somewhat angry about it too, thinking Vincent was being reckless with his future. Vincent rubbed his nose in frustration and asked about Grandma's condition. Mom gave vague answers and politely declined Vincent's invitation to ride home together, leaving with me first. I visited Grandma at the hospital. The doctor said her condition required transfer to a better hospital in Beijing for surgery, which had already been arranged. I volunteered to go to Beijing with Andy to take care of Grandma. Since Dad left 8 years ago, Mom has been managing the company alone and is already exhausted. I usually can't help much, so while I still have vacation time, it's good to do what I can for them. That same day, I accompanied Grandma on the flight to Beijing. Naturally, I couldn't attend Vincent's college celebration banquet. 13. Although even if I stayed in town, I wouldn't have gone. On the night of Vincent's college celebration banquet, he seemed to be in a bad mood. He borrowed someone else's phone and kept urging me to come. At first, he asked where I was. After pressing me several times, he realized I wasn't deliberately late. I simply hadn't gone at all. He was furious. Even his mother finally noticed something was wrong and deliberately called to probe indirectly. Catherine, did you and Vincent have a falling out? Why didn't you come visit after returning from the beach? Are you upset with me too? Wait till I get back. I'll give that brat a good scolding for you. Don't be angry. You two still need to go register at Shaman University together. I've prepared a full set of skincare, sunscreen, and dorm supplies for you. I'm not angry. No need. Auntie, Mom has already prepared everything for me. I really have family matters to attend to. I'm not in Lake City right now. As I was explaining, Vincent suddenly snatched the phone from the other side. Catherine, you're ruthless. You're absent at such an important moment in my life, and you even come up with such a lame excuse. What exactly do you mean? Make it clear. We've known each other for 18 years, not 18 months, not 18 days. Do you still remember? At that time, I had just come out of my grandmother's hospital room and was about to return to the hotel to rest. I was utterly exhausted. Vincent, congratulations on getting what you wanted. Something came up at home, so I won't be going. Before the words could fully leave her mouth, the other end erupted in a roar. Enough with the tantrums already. How many days has it been? How many times have I swallowed my pride and tried to make amends? Do you have any idea how much you're ruining my mood? I can't even enjoy this trip properly because of you. Are you planning to stay mad until university registration? When the time comes, I won't help you move those big suitcases of yours. Let's see, who'll lend you a hand then? Whatever. I muttered dismissively. But in my heart, I remembered that in the Harvard Institute of Technology's freshman group chat, there seemed to be plenty of enthusiastic male students volunteering to help on registration day. The sky wouldn't fall without Vincent. Vincent was still in shock when I hung up the phone. Shortly after, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. Kathleen, go ahead and don't look for me in college. Just wait until someone else chases me away. You'll be the one crying then. Ugh, I muttered, deleting the message and immediately blocking the number. Devoted herself wholeheartedly to caring for her grandmother. The school posted an honor roll with everyone's college admission information. I didn't return to school. Natalie told me Vincent hadn't gone back either. The very next day, his father took him to an out-of-town company, saying he wanted to give him early work experience. After the college celebration banquet, for some reason, he even left the class group chat. I guess this time, he really wanted to cut all ties with me. Fine by me. Grandma's treatment and recovery in Beijing went smoothly, and by the time I was about to report to school, she had already been safely brought back to Huqing. I only stayed home for one night. Mom had already packed my luggage for me. The next day, my mother personally took me to register at the university. I didn't see Vincent the entire time. Turns out university wasn't as scary as I'd imagined. With several large suitcases in tow, a group of senior students rushed to help carry them to my dorm the moment we arrived. The girls from the Northeast in my dorm are all really warm and welcoming. In my major, all the female students in our grade are housed in our dorm. Within just 3 days of moving in, they took me everywhere to explore and try all the local must-eat spots. Turns out, the Northeastern cuisine I initially thought I wouldn't like is actually delicious. They even took me to the public bathhouse on the very first night. Under the candid circumstances, we quickly became as close as could be. Just as I was rapidly adjusting to university life and received my third love letter during the military training, Vincent suddenly called me again. Catherine, I went to your place yesterday to pick you up for school registration, but your mom said you'd already left for campus early. But when I arrived at school today, I couldn't find out which class you're in no matter who I asked. What's going on? Which campus are you at? I suddenly didn't know where to begin explaining. After all this time, he still hadn't realized I never followed him in changing my application to Shaman University. It's not about the campus location. I'm not even at the same university as you. I couldn't help but retort. No way, are you kidding me? Vincent laughed in disbelief. Don't be angry, alright, I'll apologize to you. I admit defeat, okay? Hurry up and come to the girls' dorm entrance. My mom brought a bunch of stuff for you, including your favorite pastries. Don't blame me for eating them all by myself. I couldn't hold back anymore and explained everything to him word by word. Vincent, I really think you're beyond help. My college choice has never changed. It's always been Harvard Institute of Technology, majoring in aeronautics. You know, I've always wanted to apply there. Why would I go to Shaman? Just as I said this, my dorm mate happened to call me for lunch. Hey girl, want to get some sweet and sour pork for lunch today? The authentic Northeastern accent finally made Vincent on the other end panic. When he spoke again, his voice stuttered like a jammed videotape. Why you? Don't joke around, Catherine. And no, that's impossible. Didn't you know I changed my application? There's no way you didn't change yours too. How could you dare go to Harbin alone? It's so far away. I sighed. I'm really not joking. Vincent, you didn't even ask me when you changed your university preferences. How could you be so sure I'd follow your lead? Especially when you changed them for someone else. It would be utterly tactless of me to tag along. Vincent hurried to explain. But that day, that night I asked you, and you said you knew. How could you not have changed yours with me? That's impossible. You're not doing this because of Rebecca, are you? I just had a moment of weakness. She was crying, saying she was afraid of being bullied if she went to another city alone. You know, although her hometown is in Fujian, she hasn't dared to go back since her father got into trouble. Plus, she got in through art scholarships. She didn't have many options to begin with. She's not like you with good grades. That university was already the best she could luckily get into. Vincent blurted out a flurry of words in panic, but I remained unresponsive. All I heard was her. Even now he was still only seeing things from Rebecca's perspective, never once considering my feelings. Rebecca's father was a corrupt official who's been in prison for years, though he divorced her mother before getting locked up. But she and her mother endured constant disdain in their hometown, so her mother took her and moved to Lake City to start anew. Back then, she was still young and adult matters had nothing to do with her. But her tragedy wasn't my doing, so why should I have to consider her? Vincent, since you care so much about her, you've gotten your wish now. We're just ordinary friends, not bound to always walk the same path. I hope you won't disturb me anymore from now on. I hung up the phone, took a deep breath, and before I could even grieve, my roommate dragged me off to the cafeteria. I thought Vincent would finally let it go. After all, we were separated by thousands of miles, north and south, not to mention all those wounds that couldn't be easily erased. But the very next night, Vincent appeared right before my eyes. 15. At that moment, I wasn't alone. There happened to be a somewhat awkward classmate standing nearby. He was quite handsome, tall too, and his name often appeared on the confession wall. I was just about to ask him if there was something he needed my help with. Earlier, while I was eating, he had already stolen countless glances at me. Classmate Catherine, I'm Isaac. The one who sent you 3 letters in a row but never got a reply. I think you're really pretty and I want to seriously date you, like, super serious. Will you give me a chance to pursue you? He stammered out the first sentence, scratched his head, and then shoved a 4th letter into my hands. Before I could even react, he bolted like a shot. Catherine. I had just opened the letter when I turned around to see Vincent standing there, looking desolate. Perhaps it was the exhaustion from rushing over, but he appeared somewhat haggard. Yet his well-tailored white shirt and dark dress pants remained impeccably neat, still the same refined heartthrob from Ijong High. Such formal attire coupled with the laptop in his hand suggested he'd come straight from some official engagement. Even though I had let go, I still couldn't help feeling a bit dazed. I have something to tell you. Can we find a place to sit and talk? Vincent asked cautiously, as if he was afraid I might refuse. We have a class meeting tonight, so let's just talk here, I said calmly. Vincent chased after me all this way. If I don't let him speak, he definitely won't leave. Never expected his first words to be, "You confess after just a few days of knowing each other? Clearly not serious. Stay away from men who only care about looks." I retorted coldly. You came all this way just to say that? What's it to you? If I don't make new friends, am I supposed to keep waiting for old ones? Vincent choked for a moment, then spoke again in a much calmer tone. Catherine, I don't know why you didn't change your application with me. I apologize. I was indeed being overconfident. I assumed you'd definitely come with me, no matter where. I cut him off. Stop right there. Don't impose your will on me, or guilt trip me. It wasn't me who wanted to change. You were the one who changed first. You always followed me to whichever school I chose before. You had the login credentials for my college application system. Why won't you change your plans to be with me this time? Vincent grew agitated, gripping my arm stubbornly as he asked, Then why couldn't you just tell me openly that there's somewhere else you'd rather go? Do you think I wouldn't have let you apply there? Why twist things by testing me like this? Is toying with someone's future amusing to you? I stared back at him and countered, No. That's not it. I just had too much faith in our relationship. Don't you remember? Back then when I kissed you, you didn't refuse. I'd planned to officially confess to you in college, even mapped out returning to Lake City together after graduation to get married. There was never anyone else. Rebecca was just someone I used later to make you jealous. Vincent grew increasingly agitated as he spoke, the corners of his eyes turning slightly red. I shook off his hand. But you never consider my feelings. That's when I realized you didn't understand me at all. You didn't know why I applied to this university. Maybe you thought it was just because you applied, so I followed you. It was never just about you. You should know. My father died in an aircraft experiment accident. I asked you so many times what fascination the universe held that made my father risk his safety for those experiments. Actually, back then, I really wanted to figure out the reason myself. The more I missed Dad, the more I wanted to know the answer. Did you really think I'd casually give up his dream just for you? Vincent froze. But you never mentioned any of this. I smiled. He probably never expected that the casual question I'd asked, born from missing my father, had secretly planted the seed of continuing his legacy. So all that hard work and sweat was never just for him alone. Finally, I said a lot to him. It was truly my way of giving closure to the youth we once shared. Even now, I remain deeply grateful. When my father passed away, you stayed by my side through the hardest days. Even when my mother was overwhelmed with business, your parents gave me warmth as if I were their own. But Vincent, the moment you unilaterally decided to abandon our promise, we were destined to be no more. 16. That day, after I left, it suddenly poured with rain. My roommate came back and told me there was a really handsome guy downstairs who seemed so devoted, standing in the heavy rain for ages. I didn't react much, nor did I want to persuade him anymore. Vincent stood outside our dorm all night, only leaving at daybreak. But what I didn't expect was that he didn't return to Shaman. He went straight back home to Huching instead. A few days later, I received a call from his mother. Catherine, could you please talk to Vincent properly? He's been sick ever since returning from Harbin. He had a 39-degree fever but refused to go to the hospital or take medicine. He finally recovered today, yet now he won't return to school. He says he wants to drop out and retake the entrance exams to attend Harbin Institute of Technology, to be with you. My head was throbbing with pain, but I answered her without hesitation, my voice firm. It's impossible, Auntie. I won't wait for him. I've already planned out my college life and won't stop to waste time. Please tell him to stop doing foolish things, or I'll think even less of him. On the other end of the line, something fell to the ground with a clatter. Later on, I heard Vincent obediently went back to school after all. It was his grandparents who stepped in to persuade him. Though I heard he wanted to take the postgraduate entrance exams and come to Harbin to be with me. Whenever there was a holiday, he would fly from Xiamen to Harbin to see me. Even when I ignored him, he would just glance from afar, sending things I used to like. But during winter break, I was already in a relationship with Isaac, who acted all tough outside but was as obedient as a puppy around me. He handed me 99 love letters I simply couldn't refuse anymore. He had no idea that the confession letter was interspersed with occasional photos of his abs, tempting my roommates to constantly urge me to verify their authenticity. After yet another instance of seeing Isaac holding me as we slid down the giant ice slide, Vincent completely vanished from my surroundings. In the days that followed, I rarely heard any news about Vincent. Even our home was moved away from its original location by my mother. Later, many years after, I successfully pursued my PhD directly as I wished, and Isaac stayed by my side all along. We entered a top-tier aerospace laboratory together. Occasionally recalling those youthful days, it truly feels like just an insignificant little episode now. Ahead lies the boundless starry sky waiting for me to explore.